All right, I think we're up and running. Oh, chat room. That was the other thing. I'm at the office, which means it's a weird angle to get in here. Oh, that looks very weird. There we go. I think we can make that work. Okay, so here's what we got. Working on Suggestive. If you haven't seen it before, Suggestive, let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. Suggestive is an application for people to be able to suggest topics for a podcast. And so far we've built out the ability for users to come in and suggest topics. And then the admins can accept those topics, which means, yes, hey, we're going to do a thing about those. They can reject the topics, which means, no, we're not going to do a thing. They can mark it as duplicate. Hello, which means, hey, we've done this one before, and eventually they'll be able to link them together. And soon, they'll be able to schedule them, and that's what we're going to be working on right now. I'm adding the concept of an episode, which means you'll be able to add an ID to it. So episode 1, episode 2, episode 5. You give it a title, and eventually we'll give it a URL. And the goal of the episode is to be able to do two things. One of them is organizing suggestions and saying we're going to be doing these particular suggestions at this particular episode. So that's for the administrator, but it's also later for someone to be able to say, well, look at which suggestions ended up lining up with which episode, or if your suggestion gets marked as a duplicate, it gives you the ability to see, well, which one was it marked as, and then on what podcast episode was it covered. So I'm logged in as an admin right now. Admin can list out the episodes. They can add an episode, which is just title and number. They can look at the suggested topics. They can look at the accepted topics. And this is kind of the place they'd be going to plan out their episode. They can also add a topic themselves, which instantly adds it over. I'll show you in a second. They can add a topic themselves, which instantly accepts it. I'm sick, if you can't tell. Evening. And that's it. So what we're going to be doing here, yep, exactly. What we're going to be doing here is ensuring that this is done. I hadn't finished work on adding episodes, but then also we're going to be making it so that the administrator can plan their next episode. And initially that's going to be just associating accepted topics with an episode, and then we'll go from there. So let's actually open it up. Looks like I have a whole bunch of work that I've done that I'm going to need to just commit. You can see that going on there. We're going to need to commit some of that. So let's GitHub, desktop, and get in here. And there's a lot of work that I did that I haven't committed. And I'd like to start today's fresh. So I'm going to do one of those terrible things that I always judge people for doing, but since it's my side project, I'm just going to do it, which is lots of stuff. You can also see that I added API objects. Oops, that wasn't supposed to happen. Get out of there, please. No, go away. There we go. Okay. So I should show really quickly what the API object looks like. There's one thing you do. So if you do the hashbang insta history push state instead of the hashbang, it makes it very easy for you to get rid of the hashbang. But then if you were then to hit enter here, it's now needing to be routed so that Laravel or whatever your backend is knows to serve this up as a that same route. So there's a couple ways to do it. The one they suggest in the docs is actually editing your Nginx and Apache config, but someone, I forget who, I'm sorry, showed me this, which is basically just find the acceptable routes and pass them all into the same view. And so I'm able to have all the other routes that I want to be over here. And this one was easy. It's dashboard/anything or dashboard/nothing. All pass into the view route, and everything else ends up somewhere else. So that was really easy. All right. So let me show you the API objects real quick. This is something I've been doing recently, where every single time you make a return from an API, instead of returning either using, I showed you guys this before last time. Instead of using a complex transformer, or instead of directly returning an eloquent model, you pass it through a manual transformer that I call an API object that basically takes in the eloquent object and then can transform it to array and then transform it to JSON. So, howdy. All right, so the next step that we're going to work on here is figuring out what does the feature actually look like in order to allow people here the admin to associate one of these topics with an episode. And so I have to think about the user interface that I want there, and I actually haven't figured out all the answers yet. So one of the things I thought about is if you associate, like maybe there's a drop down under each of these that allows you to associate with it with an episode. Hello again, sugar. I think it was sugar. So, and that would mean, but the question is then, what happens when it's an accepted topic that has now been assigned to an episode? Because it's kind of weird if it just sits here. And so, to me, this is a little bit less accepted topics, and I'm thinking it more actually be accepted but unassigned topics. And then there's going to be, under the episodes, you have the ability to see which are assigned to them. So I think I'm going to proceed on that assumption, make the UI work that way, and if so, then I'll have to rename this route or something like that so it's clearer. But the thing is, I tend to think in like a very CRUD way, so this is the page where we list all the topics that are accepted, but instead you want to think in more of like a user feature way. What is the user coming to this page to do? What job are they trying to accomplish? Well, they are trying to see which of the topics they have accepted and not yet assigned to an episode. So basically, someone is coming to this page to decide, what should I do for my next episode? So the primary goal here is to read them and then to assign them to an episode. That's the number one thing they want to do. So my thought is you present it and then you have some kind of button or something that allows you to choose which episode it's assigned to. So for right now, let's just do a drop down. So we have the idea, previously existing idea here of a button bar along the bottom, but there's no super easy way to put a drop down in here, but we're going to kind of grab the same chunk of code and then put a drop down in it, and then bind change in the drop down to move it to an episode. And then we also have to build the backend route. So first, let's build the UI for it. So we need to go. I don't actually know where is it? Cool. Oh yeah, because that's the last thing I served from localhost 8000. So let's open up our code. It's weird having two screens and streaming off of one of them. So the first thing we want to do is go to our components, so resources, assets, JS components. And we want to look at the ones that, so we're working on accepted topics, so that's this right here. We want to reference suggested topics, which is the one that has our buttons here. So let's go to suggested topics too. So there should be a button group. There you go, button group down at the bottom. Just a second, I have to respond to a text message really briefly. So let's grab these buttons, go to accepted topics, and where did they go? They went right at the end of the column. So we don't want those buttons. We want a button, which is probably not going to be a button. It's probably just going to be this. So let's just drop that. That's going to say basically assigned to episode. Oh, and we probably should be running gulp. Is that the Scotch? Yes, this is, well, actually, this is Balvenie 14 Caribbean, which is a Scotch, and it is not just a Scotch, it is a fantastic Scotch. It's a special treat Scotch. Nice eyes on that. All right, so, okay, there's our buttons. It's interesting those buttons are not looking the same as they do in the suggested topics page, because there's a spacing below them, which makes me think that on the suggested topics template we probably had a little bit of, no, interesting. I'm wondering what the, all right, will do. I'm wondering what the CSS is that bumped it down. I'm sure I just put a little bit of hacky, crappy CSS in there. Come on, right there. There's probably, yep, there you go, something right there, probably under the button group, like a margin bottom. No, there's actually literally 2 line breaks. It's hackier than hacky. The one thing better than hacky CSS is literally putting line breaks in your code because you're lazy. All right, so we can go over, let's jump back out there, go to accepted topics. Okay, cool, assign episode. So in theory, this button would do something. It would pop up, what is the best user experience for someone to choose to accept something and assign it to an episode. Yeah, And it may end up being something like having an episodes bucket on the right and then dragging it over. That seems like it actually could be a nice experience, but I feel like if I did that, we'd spend the entire time just working on draggable and sortable and stuff. Don't want to deal with that right now. So right now, let's just make it function, and then let's kind of like up the user experience a little bit after that. So what shall we start with? Let's make it a drop-down. So all right, so that's our shape. And that shape, when you click on it, should... Nope, I'm refreshing the wrong thing. When you click on it, should assign you a particular episode. So the next thing you want to do is be able to bind these options here to an array. Oh, what just happened? All right, I think we're back. Okay. Somebody had just said something, but I lost it because Twitch just decided to totally quit. So, are we still there? I don't want to have lost everyone whatever just happened. It says it's still streaming. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, so somebody had said something right before it quit, and I didn't see it. Open a little modal pop-up window. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. So that's one of the possible UI opportunities. We could open a modal pop-up window with all the episodes. We can allow someone to drag them in an episode, or there can be a little drop-down. Drop-down is clearly, hey now, drop-down is clearly not the best way to work with it, but it's the simplest. So we're going to get that working and then kind of build up from there. So what we need to do here is basically, get a list of episodes from the API and then fill it in here, and then we need to, bind change or whatever it ends up being Vue world. And I've never actually worked with dropdowns with Vue, so this will be a fun Googling learning experience. Bind change to assign this this topic to an episode. And I'm thinking that the best way to do that would be, so I'm trying to keep everything as RESTful as possible. So we've got, like an API /episodes/5 endpoint, right? My thought is that you end up doing this. There's a API /episode/5, and every episode has a endpoint that is something like scheduled topics or something like that. And then we post to that, and the post ends up having basically like who knows what. I mean, maybe it's just topic ID or something like that, and then the ID of this particular topic. That's kind of my general way of thinking about this right now. So first thing, let's get a list of all the episodes from the API. So in here, we're getting a list of all the topics here, right? So I want to also do this .http.get episodes. And get the data. So we will probably want to have some data in there that is episodes. Oops. It's going to be another array. And so, likely, eventually, this will say this .episodes equals data, and then we'll just grab our same little error here. So let's just do that. And I actually don't even know if we have a functioning route to list all the episodes. Let's go take a look at our tests. Admin episode test does exist. Test to control episodes goes to the API episodes route and sees them. Okay, so I have written tests around these. Test non-admins cannot see episodes. Okay, this stuff is here. And admins can create episodes, and admins can. So what we need to do here, and I don't know if it'd be the right place, is we need to do a test. Admins can schedule maybe a topic for an episode or something like that, and it's basically going to be that thing. So basically post that same thing I said. API episodes ID scheduled topics, and then basically topic ID, ID or whatever. That's my general thought. So we'll mark it as incomplete right now because I haven't done it. What about being able to theme the episodes? Episode 1 theme name. Well, they have titles already. So you might have not been here when I shared it. I think you weren't there yet. But each episode has episode 1 is introduction to my podcast. Highlight the uncommitted lines. It's probably Sublime Gutter. Isn't it? List packages. Git Gutter is what it looks to be. Yeah, I think it's Git Gutter. All right, so let's go. So we need to do this once we get the back end running. Let's get the front end running first. We have the ability to list out the episodes, and I've already written some, codes that will at least see if it's working in general for us. And actually, let's come in here and just, since I don't know how to do selects yet, let's just do episodes JSON right now and just see what we get. All right, looks like we have all our episodes available to us already. So, off topic, store session. Yeah, no, I have not. So the authentication of the API right now is literally assuming that you are authenticated using a Laravel session, which is not, the best way to do it, but I'm just hacking through it right now. JSON Web Tokens would probably be the place I would go, especially since Laravel 5.2 is adding a much greater support for it. Sometimes we just use the HTTP authentication header or whatever. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I don't think I will spin up an entire OAuth client just for this, but this particular application is using, this is Laravel right here. And all that kind of stuff is, should we assign only that? Yeah, maybe. Good idea. This is Laravel, and this is going through, you can see that down at the bottom, auth/GitHub. This is Laravel Socialite, and that's what allowing us to log in. And only once you get logged in, then you have a session, and that session is hitting the API. So this is not like a stateless API or anything like that. This is literally the API calls are checking your Laravel session just as if it's like you're normal. So this is kind of like this half and half thing, which may be fine for plenty of sites. I don't know. So yeah, so this idea only assigned unaired episodes is a good idea for the future. We're not going to do it now because there's no concept of unaired episode right now. So the first thing I want to do, and I got 20 minutes left, is just get the ability for us to assign them, and then we'll go from there. So we've got a list of episodes. Don't even need a console.log. It's working. So my guess is that it's not going to be right to do it this way, like do some kind of like liv4 equals episode in episodes, but let's just try it. And maybe this is the right way to do it. Interestingly, the number is not actually a unique ID. So we're actually going to need something like this, like value equals episode.id or something like that. And then this would be like something like episode.number. Something like that. So let's just see if that works. Kind of would be shocked if it did, but you never know. Yeah, it didn't work. Okay, cool. What did I do wrong? Select option. I'm doing list items inside of a select. How about that? None of y'all even caught it. It's one of those days. It's 5:20 and I want more coffee. All right. It's because it's title, not name. That's why. Well, there we go. We actually have our episodes available. We'll want to do an episode up top. That is the unselected episode. Expected that to be gray. It's grayed once you click on it, but it's not. Maybe something like that for now. There you go. Okay, cool. That makes a little more sense. So let's drop that JSON. So get a list of episodes from the API, done. All right, now bind change to assign this topic to an episode. So we need, oh crap, I hit refresh on the wrong page again. Oh, there you go. All PHP code is my favorite. Got it. All right. So, so I think it's going to be something like this, like is there an at change equals, and then, you know, schedule topic, and it might have to pass in like this or something, so it's able to get this episode, but I'm not, or maybe we need to put this. Yeah, that's interesting. What is it going to look like to get the value of this select at the current moment? But let's just see if we get this first. So let's put in methods, and then select topic, vModel. Interesting. Should be a button next to select. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I think we're not actually going to end up with this one. So, all right, so you would say vModel equals whatever, and you're just going to listen to that. So that would be something like vModel equal. No, because there's a whole bunch of these selects, and I don't know how to do that. I imagine. I imagine there's probably something like vModel equals. I guess. Because the thing is, so that would be on here, right? And so we would have to know anytime vModel changes, it would need to figure out which one of them changed, and then is the vModel topic dot schedule topic? And I don't understand how that stuff works. So if anybody knows, let me know. Until anybody tells me, I'm going to keep trying this thing, and it could be totally wrong. Again, I've never done this before or seen this before, so I don't even know if at change exists. So we're just going to try it and just see what happens. Whoa, I don't know what it means that you have that thing. What does turbo mean? I also don't know what bots are or bang uptime. All this Twitch stuff that I don't understand. You can all teach me one of these days. All right, so I'm going to schedule it, see what happens. There we go. Scope.schedule topic is not a function. Okay, yeah, because I went wrong. But that, interestingly, at least shows that I was right that add update is a thing. Schedule topic, console log arguments. What do we get? We got an object that has an object underneath it. That is pay Twitch, remove ads, and get extra. Cool. User voted for. So this is the topic that's being passed in. So that correctly gives us access to the topic. So we're already in the space where we can start imagining constructing this dot, this dot http dot post episodes slash, episode.id slash scheduled topics. Even though they don't see ads, moderate your channel, turbo users, different streamer gets revenue. Revenue? Streamers get revenue? People get paid to do this? Am I learning new things here? Are you kidding me? Where did this come from? Okay, so our first argument is going to be topic, IRC bot. Yeah, it makes sense that the IRC bot. I figured it was something like that when it had like a little trigger, like bang uptime. Okay, topic. So the second thing that I want access to is the episode that we're on at that particular moment. Man. No, they're distracting me. So I want to know which the particular selected item is. And that's where something like vModel may be useful. People stream as their job. I've heard about that. Okay, that's what I knew there was some people who stream, but I figured it was some external thing. I didn't realize it was like streaming through Twitch. So how do we get this right here? We want to get access to this particular episode, and somehow I want to know what the value of this select is. And I want to be able to get whichever one of these is selected at the moment. And I don't know how to do that. So if anybody has any ideas, that would be fantastic. Somehow I want to know. So some of the things that popped in my head, I know that there's a way to pass in an event here, and then I can maybe say event.target, and it might be able to let me grab this one. I know also that I can set VL on this, so I can grab this and then do this.value, but it feels both of those feel very jQuery-y. It doesn't feel right. Y'all are chatting about everything except for the thing I'm actually talking about here. Yes, Sublime Text, no PHP Storm. Got it. Bind select with vModel and use a watch function. Gosh, all right. This is the second person that said this. It still feels wrong to me because so here's the thing you got to notice is that this is not one select. This is many selects, and maybe there's just a really easy way to do it that I don't know. In which case, tell me. But I don't know how to do vModel on not like a data level property, but this would have to be a unique vModel for each instance of the select that you're watching, and you watch each one uniquely. There's a vbind. Okay. Thank you. Sugar. Multiple select bound to array. No, it's okay. I was just playing around. vbind value equals option. Oh, you guys can't see this. This right here. This is what I'm looking at. Value bindings. The vModel binding values are usually static strings. No, where did that go? I guess when I resized it, I lost where I was. I mean, I don't know if it'll work either, but we can at least take a look. There you go. So select vModel equals selected, and then the value equals option.value. So this is basically binding that this model up here gets assigned to be the value of option.value. We're still running into the same problem for me that this right here is assuming that there's a single dropdown, and I don't know how to do vModel on like 20 vModels when there's 20 episodes. So why don't we just try something fun and set a vModel on this and just see what it does? You know, what the hey? So we're going to try this for a little bit. So alphabet and mountain tabs. Oh gosh, did you just see how... Yeah, okay, let's move back over here. Don't judge me. So where's our code? Make a component out of it. Yeah, I was thinking make a component that has its own data element and do all that kind of stuff. We will probably get there. I was hoping to avoid that if we can, but if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. So here's, as you see, we got our little thing, alphabet, and it's set to, you know, null or whatever. And so my guess is that if I change one of these, it's going to change all of them, which is not what we want. So the next question is then, can you say like vModel equals a property that doesn't exist on episode? And the answer is probably no. Crud. We probably need to make a component. That's probably the best way to do it. The reason I didn't want to create a component is because I don't actually know if this is what the thing's going to look like in the end. But my guess is we just got to do it. So this is going to be a topic episode scheduler or something like that. And it's basically going to be this right here. Topic episode scheduler. And then we're basically going to need to pass in the topic and the topic, right? Select a change episode topic. I thought of that and it didn't work because you can't do that because you're binding you're binding that on the select, and this doesn't have access to the episode, right? Because the episode is within the loop, unless there's some way where it like knows that currently selected episode gets passed up into there, but I don't think it does. So topic episode scheduler. So it's going to need to know topic equals topic, and then We do topics of episode scheduler. Yeah, I know, and especially now that I have the whole build setup here, it's going to be a lot easier because I can just use the I can use the Vueify stuff. So and here we've got our own individual. I said it was alphabet, but it's really episode. It's also going to need to have episodes passed in. Do you need to props as a function too? Can't remember. I'm going to try it without it. Don't die. Yeah, I'm trying not to die. All right, so let's call props as topic and then episodes. So we'll pass episodes in here. I guess I'm indenting this further in the other ones. Okay, so data is going to have episode, which is going to be null for starters, and then vModel equals episode, and then this is the vbind thing that whoever it was shared earlier. Vbind value equals episode.id. Okay, in general, that's what we're thinking of. And now what we need to do is watch it. So I have not actually done watching before, so let's go learn something. I'm going to pull a single tab over so you don't all judge me too much. Let's find the docs for watching. I've seen it before. I know it's a thing. My guess is in here. Oh, you can. This is one of the 1.0 shortcuts. See, it'd be easy if I could just want to find it and have it be one of these so I don't have to worry about it. There you go. It's referencing but not actually teaching me. Does anybody have it handy for where watch is? If not, I'm just going to try this. I still hate these doc search things. Options, data, watch. There we go. Okay. So watch, this is probably the property name, and this is what happens every single time that property changes. I could have guessed that. That was actually what I kind of thought, but come on. So our property name is episode. We're going to have a function. And what are our function? Val and old val. Okay. I don't think I care about those, but again, let's just try that. Actually, let's just do this argument, see if we get past anything else. So in theory, every time I change it, it's just going to console log all the arguments that are passed into the watch doohickey. Trying not to die. Okay, unknown custom element. Yes, because you need to register your components first. So all the components I've been registering, you have full stop on line 28 above the brace. Line 28 above the brace. Thank you. So all the components I've been registering before, I've been registering in app.js like this. I'm actually very curious whether I can do this inside of a subcomponent. Just do components, and then what's the syntax for that? Like that. Like suggested. Wait, topic, episode, schedule. Like this? This seems wrong in a lot of ways. I don't think that's right. But I'm kind of gonna hack at it right here until somebody ever tells me what the actual thing is here. This feels wrong because prior I've been binding all my components here, so I know I could do it in here. But I just wanted to try it and just see if it works, I guess. So let's just see. You can indeed. It's components, component name require. Yeah, the question for me is, what do you do when component name has dashes? This one is ones where you should camel case it. All right, so. All right, what was that error we just got? Cannot find module components topic episode scheduler.view. Okay, topic episode scheduler.view because I typed it wrong. You can just assign the required to the component key like this, right? Components require. If you mean up in app.js, yeah, I know I can do that. That was just an experiment I was doing earlier, and I haven't undone since. Cannot find module. What do you mean can't find module? Okay. Components, topic. Oh, are we in a different directory now? Is that what it is? It'd basically be like /. Try to not type at the bottom of the window. You can't see it. Why can't you see it? What is going on with is my resolution wonky? Oh, my resolution's wonky. That is so frustrating. You guys are missing, holy crap, you guys are missing a very large amount of what I'm typing here. I don't know why that is the case. That's really frustrating. Okay, get out of my way, please. Okay, gosh darn it. I have to pull up OBS and see if it can show me what you all can see. I apologize for that. Yeah, I don't know why. It must have just gotten on the wrong resolution or something. What on earth is going on here? 1280 960. Maybe it was supposed to be 1287 something, and this one just doesn't have it or something. Well, crud. That's frustrating. Thank you for saying something. Let's go up there, and then pull that one up there. Well, this is unique. All right. If you notice that I have opened up a new window and I start doing that, please let me know. Okay. So 5 minutes and I gotta go. I want to get this thing working. So reg-start component, and what is Browserify telling us? No errors this time around. Okay, maybe it's gonna work. Come on. All right. And then we should get a watch, console logs. What? Look at that. Look at that. This is fantastic. So that's our episode ID right there. So we now, in our topic episode scheduler, have this watcher that is now going to tell us what to do. And so this is where we do that thing I was doing earlier, which is the schedule topic. So let's pull out the schedule topic out of there. Pull that out of there, pull this in here. So what we want to do now is, we don't care about old val, which is great. We really just want to post to this.episode. So episodes, this.episode.id/schedule topics. And what do we want to post to it? And I think the data goes here. And so what is the data we want to pass in? And let's go to that test that I wrote that I didn't actually complete yet. Admins can schedule a topic for an episode. What do we want to do? We want to post, and all we need is topic_ID to be the number. So our data should be shaped like topic ID, and then set it to val, because that's the ID that they just selected. Browserify failed. Unexpected token 1430 while parsing file. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it doesn't like something in here. Var data equals friggin' PHP array syntax. Every time it burns me. Every friggin' time. All right, so this should be trying to, so let's copy one of our errors over. This should be trying to post over to that URL route, which doesn't exist yet, and I don't have time to make today. Well, we've at least proven that we can do it that way. Curly braces, yeah, you're too late, you and your 15-second lag. All right, and then this can be console.log arguments. So we should get an error when we try and do that. And then we're going to hit pause for the day, and when we come back, what we'll do is basically write the code to make this test work, and then this will all of a sudden work, and then we'll handle what do we do with the UI once we've assigned a topic to an episode. I have tried ES6. Half the stuff in here is ES6, and half the stuff in here isn't. Most of, like, for example, I'm writing these things this way, just because I've been writing JavaScript for a really long time, and it's very comfortable to write this in a syntax that I'm familiar with, and much less comfortable to write it in a syntax that I'm not familiar with. So I'll get there, but right now I just don't care. So yeah. Not that I don't care. It's not worth the slowdown in production speed. All right, so we should get an error. It should say error, great, and it's going to show us the error. And then we go to network, we look at the error, and the error is going to say something like that route is not defined. There you go, not found HTTP exception. Oh, that's clever. I thought it was some kind of technical restraint. Didn't even think about that. Okay, so the next steps are to go into this test, which we've marked as incomplete, make it work when you do this, and then that is going to make this thing work. And then at this point, let's say we've had a successful, actually let's look at those arguments. What do we, oh, we can't look at the arguments we got back because it's nothing useful. But let's assume we've gotten a successful response. What do we want to do? I think we want to pull it out of here. I think we don't want that topic in these topics anymore. Which we don't have topics in here. So you could sync the topics list into here and operate on it. That doesn't feel right. It feels better for me to broadcast something up. I don't remember exactly how to do that. So basically something like this broadcast, like, hey, parent components, I just moved, change the status. And I don't think it has a status right now for a topic that's been assigned to an episode, so we've got to allow you for scoping it so that this accepted topics page scopes out any that are actually assigned. So I think we have to have a new idea after either a different status or a new flag that says assigned. So hey, parent components, I just changed the status of topic number, topic.id, whatever. And so I have no idea what the broadcast syntax looks like. So we'll look up the broadcast syntax, and then its parents are going to have listeners for that event being broadcast. And then they'll know, oh, when that event is broadcast, then we can pull it out of this episode's list or whatever. It may be. That's what I was saying. The up and downness and the specific syntax, I've only used it once before. There you go. Broadcast fires to child. So that means it's going to be something like dispatch. But again, who knows what the actual syntax is because I don't have time to look it up right now. If I Googled it, I'd know in 30 seconds, but I'm trying to kind of close down the topic for the day. So that's the general idea. So we've got a new component. Thank you for whomever it was. I think Mr. Akusa, who said, hey, just split out a component. Your life's going to be a lot easier. You're right. It was a lot easier this way, and it's one of those things where when you start using like a new way of doing things, you just got to wrap your brain around it. So two-way binding, data binding, always makes people have to wrap their brain around the idea that the canonical source of the data is in JavaScript memory instead of on that DOM. And one of the things I'm finding with Vue and React is that components, and that's why I set it up with this Vueify style, because it just makes it so much easier to register your components in this context. So I think that's it for today. So thank you all. Sorry it was short, but I got to go home. So thank you for tuning in. And next round, we'll be actually making this test work. And if you haven't heard me rambling on about this a whole bunch, this is us working on this whole acceptance test-driven design thing, where we start with what we want the actual API calls to look like. We're actually going to write this stuff. Post to here with this, and then assert a response status, or see JSON in another page, or see in database, or something like that. And then they'll all fail because we won't have written them. And then we're going to go to routes.php, and piece by piece we'll actually write the route until this test actually works. And then since we've already written our Vue code against this test, then the moment this test goes green, this Vue code will actually function. So this is very data driven. Yeah. Okay. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time.